Hello, everybody. We've got a show for you that promises to be mildly interesting for your listening and watching enjoyment. First, I want to talk about how lawyers should be thinking about what to do with their employees as AI comes to the fore. Hint, it's not firing them. Then, we talk with Chad Sands, the original voice of Poochie from The Simpsons and longtime legal software marketer, about the state of the legal industry. Finally, Chad and I take a trip through the Urban Dictionary, which goes very sideways. If you're a law firm owner and you're getting keyed up about AI, there's probably a few things that have you excited. One is more efficiency. Two is cost savings. And three is really a subset of cost savings. But it's that you can fire a shit ton of your employees because you're going to be using AI instead. And right now, this is mostly focused on generative AI and tools that are built into existing systems that you have. But eventually, this is going to be about bringing in AI robots to replace standard employees, which is kind of fucked, but that's definitely the direction we're going in. Now, your employees, on the other hand, aren't going to be like, yes, sir, please replace me. So there's this interim period where you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do for your staff. They're not just going to want to be like, let me legislate myself out of existence. They're going to want something else. And that something else is the ability to continue to work within your business or to work with a different business. So the trade-off is more like revamping their skill set. So what does that mean? Like, I think as a business owner, especially a law firm business owner, and you're like, hey, I'm going to take away all this rote stuff from me. You don't have to do it anymore. The robots, quote unquote, are going to do that for you. Now you need to be looking at upskilling them. So I don't think it's enough to just be like, hey, we're going to replace some of this shit with AI and just trust us that you'll figure out other stuff to do. You want to be actively thinking about, okay, how do I upskill this person? If their job doesn't involve this 30% of what it used to involve, what does it involve now? Like, the idea when using AI is that there's going to be higher order tasks that people can utilize. Well, what might those tasks be? And what's dropping off their plate? So I think you want to be real careful about this because you obviously don't want to be in a position where you've got a million disgruntled employees working for you, whereas before, pre-AI, everybody was pretty happy in their roles. They could coast a little bit, right? So have the conversation with your staff persons as you start to adopt AI, regardless of what your plans are, and suggest to them that there is a pathway for them, which, by the way, I legitimately think there is, for them to keep working in your business with AI in place. And it's all about upskilling. So figure out how you're going to upskill your employees, be transparent about it, talk to them about it, and come up with a real plan. Because, before we get replaced by AI, I feel like we got a good 3 months to go. Just kidding. It's going to be longer than that. Now, next up, we've got Chad Sands. He has a piñata. No, he doesn't have a piñata. But you should stay tuned anyway. Well, I've effectively run out of things to say, which is awkward because this is a podcast. So I'm simply going to turn around. No, I'm just fucking with you. That sounds terrible. That's awful content. Let's interview our guest instead. Our guest today. Happy to have him back. Friend of the pod. Chad Sands, the Vice President for Marketing at CloudLex. Chad, welcome back.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here, Jared. And hopefully it's slightly better than you turning around in terms of entertainment and content for the audience.
Looking at my back.
Yes. But
welcome to the show. This is why we do video.
Yes, now that you do video. Since this is a late night legal show, I thought I'd enjoy a beverage for late night. I thought I was buying a beer from Massachusetts, your hometown, but it's not.
Oh.
So I'm going to enjoy a cold brewski. And then I also think I know you could have joined me. I should have let you know ahead of time. But maybe we could also have like a secret word for the audience at home that whenever we say like AI or
like Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah. That we drink. They can have a drink.
You know what? I'm going to get a beer.
There you go.
I'll be back.
That's right. Now
I'm going to enjoy a little bit of a waffle burger.
Okay. I'm enjoying
Blueberry waffles, which is from Treehouse Brewing, a New England, Massachusetts, Boston-based brewery.
Okay. I'm enjoying Pliny the Elder, which is, I think, a well-known beer, but I thought it was from the East Coast, but then I actually asked GPT and it's not. It's from like Sonoma County. So
tragic. Now everyone just watched me open a beer can with my teeth, but that's what I do.
I was trying to give you, some love, some Massachusetts love.
I appreciate that. You surprised me with the beer, though. I'm delighted. This thing is definitely going to go off the rails now.
Well, now you're a late night show. Now you know.
Now we're real. So can we talk about your day job for a little bit?
Sure.
What's going on at CloudLex? Just give me the haps.
CloudLex, we're staying busy. We're staying focused on pure plaintiff personal injury. We're not deviating, dedicated to that space. We're expanding kind of our platform, as we like to call it, more than just case management software. So we're integrating, services like medical record retrieval. We're also, slowly taking a responsible approach to AI. That's how we like to call it. So we're releasing new AI features, and I think, someone who has been in legal tech for a while and worked at multiple different companies, it's good to see that we're kind of staying our course and staying focused and, not getting, I think, too distracted. So, I
feel like everybody's like, let's do AI and throw shit against the wall.
But we had a quick meeting and we were not going to rebrand to CloudLex AI. So that was off. That was off the charts.
Kudos to you.
And so, yes, we're releasing and doing some testing with some of our AI features right now to roll out next year. But it's been I've been here over 3.5 years, so it's my longest tenure at a legal software company. So enjoying it, and I think we're
that's awesome.
Doing some good stuff.
We'll have the link in the show notes.
There you go. There's my CloudLex pitch.
Here's my pitch for YouTube. If you're on the video and you're watching us on video, Chad's hat has TLJ on it, which I got to say, I want to call this out. This is a custom-made cap.
It's a one of one. It's a one of one right now.
Yes, and TLJ stands for Trial Lawyers Journal, which you were basically like, fuck all this noise about the internet. I'm going to do a print journal.
I was.
So could you tell me about that kind of zag?
Yeah.
Because I think that's interesting.
Well, I think you have to factor in a little bit of my background, since I had worked at 3 different case management software companies over the past 8 years. I think I still would like to confirm or not, but I feel like there's nobody really like me in legal tech. I worked at, my case, Smokeball, now CloudLex. Most of the players in legal tech have kind of stayed put. So I feel like I've seen a lot of different things. And over those 8 years, making so many ebooks and webinar landing pages, I think it took its toll. And so, we came to CloudLex, and we really wanted to have this strategic effort into kind of, reshaping the narrative about the ambulance chaser and what kind of personal injury law firms deal with. So we did, this is the volume 2 of the Trial Lawyers Journal. And this was...
Look at the cover art.
Yeah, the cover.
Is that a goose?
That is a goose. So that is actually artwork from Tanya Kegan, who did her arts in this. And
shouts to Tanya.
There's
Sitting Bull?
There's a Sitting Bull. There's an article about what trial lawyers can learn from Sitting Bull. And so there's kind of references. I did an interview with one of the best golf course photographers in the world, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And so there's just incredible...
Because is this the lawyer's golf? So
yeah, lawyer's golf.
Connection.
I golf, okay. And I'm the editor of it, so I wanted to put it in.
Oh, that looks amazing.
He takes great photos.
Damn.
The cover was illustrated by this guy in Germany who I did an interview with. I'm going to release that soon. So it's really just now we're getting other trial lawyers to contribute articles. I'm working on volume 3 that will be released later this year. Nice. I have my own podcast. So CloudLex is the sponsor and presenting sponsor of it. And it's just something that's been, creative and exciting and something different. I think a lot of times
totally
in legal marketing, I can only take so many banners that tell me how software helped increase my caseload by 1,000% in like 15 minutes. So that's
differentiates you a little bit. So this is volume 3 that's coming out.
Yes, volume 3 coming out.
What is the frequency? Just like when you have the bandwidth, or do you have like more
right
regular
now?
Frequency
We do two issues a year.
Cool.
I think you will be now in volume 3. We have your
I wrote an article.
We have your article,
football.
the Bill Parcells article.
Yes. Although now I feel like I did like a little Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick thing.
Yes. Yeah.
I feel like I need to have some. Can we do a postscript on Jordan Hudson?
You might have to update that.
Okay.
I mean, should we talk
I'll
about
work on that.
I don't want to talk about Belichick, actually. I don't really like that guy. But yes, you do, I think.
Well, it's a good time to not like Belichick.
This is true. But for the record, I never liked him because I was a Seahawks fan and not a Patriots fan.
Well, yeah.
But
I get that. I totally get that.
Yes.
Let's get, so you, as you mentioned, you've worked for like a bunch of legal tech companies, which gives you like this interesting perspective. Like, do you think the market for like case management software is as cutthroat as it's always been, or are things changing?
I think that's an interesting question. I think that things are changing, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily becoming cutthroat, but it's definitely changing in some kind of weird ways, I would say. Like,
okay,
I see kind of some rise of these like attorney influencers who are kind of becoming spokespersons for softwares.
Oh, interesting.
I see
I haven't noticed that. Like individual attorneys who actually practice law you're talking
about. Yes. I've seen a couple in the PI space who are kind of adopting and becoming, ambassadors of some platforms. I see other attorneys trying to build their own platforms. I think that some of the consolidations that are going on is making it a little bit, or makes it seem a little bit more friendly, but I think it's very fierce, and the competition is only increasing over the years. Costs are going up for customer acquisitions and paid media, and that's never going to change. It's not a friendly, it's a friendly field out there, but at the same time, we're all fighting for the same customers, and it's a finite amount of, so many firms who decide now's the time to change software.
Right. The total addressable market for law is relatively small.
The
like
TAM.
1.3 million attorneys in the U.S. Yeah.
Yes.
And like not all of them are buyers.
Yes.
So the marketplace for people that you can actually sell legal software to is really finite, like you mentioned.
And now trying to imagine for CloudLex where we're just plaintiff personal injury, so that's even a more finite amount.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So in terms of like strategy that you're seeing out there, like are people moving away from just like, hey, let's throw everything into search-based marketing? Like you're doing the Trial Lawyers Journal,
right?
Which I think is really interesting. Are people like advertising on Reddit?
Yeah, I think so.
Like social media, like is that stuff starting to happen? Do you think? Because I think that's somewhat instructive for law firms.
Yes, I do. I mean, I think that honestly, with legal tech companies, the channels are pretty much still the same over the even since I first started 8 years ago. I think there's kind of those new areas where you could test like ads on Reddit, but for the most part, I see the same stuff and maybe more investments now in events and throwing your own event.
More.
I mean, or throwing your own conference, or these virtual day-long workshops where they pull together people. I think there's more of a focus also on customer marketing. And then there's also just now the shiny AI object that most people are just trying to hang out there and flash, and that is just getting people's attention and is an easy door opener. Like one thing I would say that has changed, for example, on the legal software side is this idea of outbound sales. And like 8 years ago, maybe having a team of sales development reps who are fresh out of college, just dialing and, all day long, trying to get a hold of.
Yeah. Like dialing for dollars is definitely a thing. It probably is definitely a thing that these companies do.
It's still a thing, but I think that's just becoming so much more difficult, and nobody really wants to talk on the phone or take a sales cold call. So I think that's kind of dying out, and you see more things like podcasts or something, really, with the Trial Lawyers Journal, what we're trying to do.
That's good, I think, in a way.
Yes. there's still the time-tested channels that are just now more costly than ever, like Google PPC. And just like it is for law firms out there, PPC costs are getting higher for them. It's same with the legal software companies because we're all fighting for those few keywords and just outbidding each other and going up the ranks. Or you look at a company like Gartner, who owns a Software Advice and a Capterra. And if a lawyer calls Software Advice actually makes more money selling that lead to 5 different legal software companies than actually the software company will make probably for that contract. So, those are where the channels are still out there. The leads are still coming from there, but the costs are just going up. So I think on the flip side, just for law firm owners, you kind of have those same channels that are just getting more and more expensive. And so where else can you go to stand out?
I mean, a lot of the AI conversation is bullshit, like you talked about.
Yes.
But I think something that's not bullshit is like the AI presence in search.
Yes.
Because you've got like AI overviews, which are like at the top of the page.
Yeah.
Now, above like paid ads. And then you've got AI search engines like Perplexity.
Yeah.
And then you've got people like doing traditional Google searches in an AI, generative AI tool like ChatGPT. So it's like, what are your thoughts on that? Are you thinking about that as in terms of like how you market CloudLex? How does that change things you're doing? Is that just like better content? Like what's the play there?
I mean, I think we're now at that crossroads and transitions. I think it's like called GEO or generative optimization. It's not SEO, it's GEO. And I think that it's going to take a while, you know what I mean? And I saw an article or a post from Guy the other day on
Guy
Sakalakis, one of his clients
friend of the pod, attorney Sync,
had, like an 600% increase on impressions, but like 0 clicks or something. And like the clicks are going away, the impressions still might be there. And I think that on the flip side, I can still use ChatGPT to create an FAQ article post and get indexed at position 0 already. So it's like Google's still picking up the AI content. I think that over the next year or two, there's going to be a number of vendors who offer this specialized software for tracking organic search results from AI platforms. And so you're going to have to pay and subscribe to those. And so it's going to eventually, I think over the next year or two, we'll start to get the playbooks that everybody can start to follow, just like they did 10, 15 years ago for all SEO.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's really interesting. The thing that's interesting to me about it is the placement more than anything else. Mm-hmm. Like if I can get into the AI overview for free simply with my effort, and that's ranking better for me than like the local service ads,
right?
Like I'd be fucking all in on quality content if it were me. And I'm doing AI, I'm doing searches, I'm seeing what's linked out from the AI overviews.
Yeah.
I'm writing my content on those subjects.
Yes. I mean,
that's what I'm doing. As like an attorney, that's the first step I'm taking. Because I think you're right. Like the metrics aren't quite there yet, but like that's something that you can grasp a hold of and be like, I can talk about the same shit that this person did.
Yes.
And maybe market it more effectively.
Yeah.
So
clicking those.
I think it's crazy. Just quickly, the other thing is like, I'm seeing some jurisdictions that are more rural or where there are fewer attorneys and they don't have content about a subject matter. So Google's like, go talk to these 3 law firms, which I'm sure internally they hate because those people aren't buying ads, but they're basically just serving free ads for people.
Right.
So I think it's like a real competitive advantage if people want to knock that down.
That's a huge point in terms of the AI results and how that compares to traditional paid search, not just like organic. And I think, yes, if you're looking at those AI search results and kind of clicking on those little chain icons and seeing what populates on the right and what those articles are and like, hey, why did, Clio get indexed and, we didn't, or vice versa? Like, well, then why don't you take a look at that article and see what it says and see what it's like structured
how it's built.
Yes.
Because obviously like Google, in addition to the AI stuff, they're also like really mandating like stronger content. than they have in the past.
Well,
like the same cheeseball bullshit content you've done before is not performing as well.
Well, I mean, and that's where like the SEO recipes of like structure and internal linking and external linking, like, are those all the telltale signs that are going to get you an AI? I don't have the answers to that yet, and I think we'll kind of slowly start to see that. But obviously, Google's probably saying they're excited about AI, but on the flip side, they're like, shit. You know what I mean? Like,
I guarantee you they're sitting in the office to be like, fuck, we need to leverage this for ad revenue.
But they're also just like, everyone just look at the YouTube ad revenue. Let's focus on YouTube revenue, because that was a great investment if you really look at it. You know what I mean? Because we make more than Netflix on YouTube revenue alone. So I'm going to let Ted talk about paid search, though. Ted?
Ted, you're up.
We're down a little bit on paid search, but AI, we have AI to answer that. And I'm going to let Eric talk about AI. Eric.
So I like how you moved into the different voices. Like, here's Ted, executive at Google.
This is what I do. All
right, so that's a good segue, because when you cracked open your Pliny the Elder, you were like, let me talk about big tech's influence on video.
I did.
So I know nothing about this. I'm going to grab my tinfoil hat. What are your thoughts here?
Well,
take a breath.
And let me gather my thoughts, because, well, I guess first I'll ask, do you agree that there is a push from big tech to go to video?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Everything's video.
Everything. Like, you go to the conferences, all the people are like, everyone likes video. LinkedIn algorithm likes video. You got to do more video.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, really? Like, do you have to do more video? Or what was wrong with the written word, you know? And especially
for fucking Pliny the Elder. Pliny the Elder was not recording YouTube shorts. I'm fairly certain.
That's true. That's true. And I also feel that I'm kind of an old school guy. You know, I went to film school not to be an actor or be in front of camera. I wanted to be behind the camera. And I just feel like some people belong behind the camera and some people are more camera ready and belong in front of the camera. And so
not us. We belong on camera.
I mean, us, yes. But it's like, I just feel like now, like, I mean, it's like I've imagined, like, okay, do I have to film like a day in the life video that I see out there? And then I think, like, that video would be pretty sad, like, in a lot of ways. Like,
my God, I know. How depressing would it be?
My alarm goes off at 7:10, but I hit snooze because I don't want to get up. And like, then instead of eating like a nice bowl of oats, like, I have a Diet Coke because I don't eat. You know, like,
this is why no one does real life. Day in the life videos. That's I woke up at 6:30 because my kid woke me up too early, and I was pissed off, and I yelled at him. Then I stumbled down the stairs and peed on my leg. That's like the day in. That's like the real day.
That's the real day in the life. But now we're just getting AI day in the life versions, you know, of people. So
yeah,
I think the video thing is. I think that it is big tech just pushing more agenda of, hey, this is how you guys should be using our platforms and doing things. And now I feel like kind of like is LinkedIn just kind of the middle-aged baby boomer equivalent of TikTok? And they don't know it, but there's now millions of people who log into LinkedIn every day on, you know, with the intention of doing business, just like a lot of TikTokers do. Yeah, I don't know.
The daily LinkedIn post.
Yes.
People are going to be like, stop talking about this, because I feel like I talk about this every episode, is the fucking bane of my existence. Like, if you don't have something to say, don't fucking say it. Well, you don't have to post every single day. I know the algorithm, but like,
you don't have to post every day, Jared. You don't have to. If you just post consistently, then you could maybe see the reach that you want. I don't think that's true. I think there's like engagement bats and little pods out there. And,
oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, some people have
Like, if you're posting every day, you're in a pod of some kind, and you've got people who are like amplifying your content. Feels like that's absolutely happening.
Or you're like the John Rambo who like still posts every day, but doesn't get involved with like the pods or refuses the ghostwriters.
Let me ask you one more question, which I'm always interested in. One of the things that I think is tough in terms of branding, which I seem to be talking to people about regularly, is like, there's a corporate voice, and then there is a personal voice. Even if you're like a solo attorney, like if you're speaking as like the law firm, you got to do that a little bit differently than if you're speaking on your personal accounts? I mean, you're a guy who's on social, like you post on LinkedIn regularly,
yeah,
and other places, and you've got stuff that's coming out on the for the CloudLex brand.
Yeah.
So how do you thread that needle? Like, what's too corporate for a personal post? What's not corporate enough for a corporate post?
I think that's a tough one, because some people would argue, well, then you have to be more authentic and there shouldn't be any blurring, and that you should be, your true authentic self on your company posts as well as your individual posts. But I think that the reality is that even, I think, pushed by AI, that we're actually just becoming more and more vanilla, and it's safer to just not be yourself or potentially accidentally insult or offend somebody, and it's just easier to have Chat GPT give me the response. I think,
or like the embedded AI that a lot of like, how many times are you on LinkedIn, for example, and they're like, you like AI to write your post?
Yes.
Sure. I'd like to do nothing.
Yes, I know. So I think that when it comes to kind of like the corporate messaging versus yourself, if I was a law firm owner, I think honestly, depending on the size of your firm, I interviewed a guy like Mike Morris, who owns the biggest law firm in Detroit, Michigan, and it's the Mike Morris Law Firm, you know what I mean? And he's pretty connected to that firm, but it's a huge firm. And you kind of get a idea of like who he really kind of is, and it's pretty genuine, and I think that kind of comes across in his messaging and advertising. And then not to pick on Morgan and Morgan or John Morgan or anything, but I don't really know. I don't know people. Yeah, I don't know John Morgan. I know he's for the people and size matters, but like I feel like that's an example of just maybe more corporate messaging and branding and marketing, you know what I mean? Versus like going back to, who you really are. And for me, when I do post to LinkedIn, I just post for myself, you know what I mean? I don't get any engagement, and I don't post every day, and I don't want to do that, you know what I mean? It's not as important to me as some other people, but maybe that's a mistake. I don't know.
I know. Is it?
I don't
think so.
I don't think so. Again, I think that LinkedIn has become essentially a TikTok for grown-up adults. And they have been kind of trained and told that, I need to come here, I need to post every day, I need to engage, and that's what I'm just supposed to be doing right now because that's what everyone else is doing.
What's happening.
Yeah. And I do think it's kind of sad when people are using AI and kind of admitting to using AI, especially like for comments and stuff. It's like that's just getting so...
comments, yeah. So, like, I don't want to live in a world where AIs are talking to each other. Yeah. Like, I agree, AIs are too safe.
Yes.
Like, they're not going to say anything to offend anyone.
No.
And that's just not my deal.
Until they start thinking that way and want to take us over and offend us, and then they'll
we're fucked anyway. So
yeah, what are you going to do?
What do you think? Like 5-10 good years left before the AI apocalypse hits? We get Skynet.
I think it's going to be a number of things have to come into play. You know what I mean? Like the robots kind of have to be built, and the robots have to do their thing, and like AI has to be able to be there, and humans have to be like stupid enough to just like miss a couple things, and then it's kind
of
like
we got that one unlocked.
Yeah. But we just have a little bit more time to make sure, it's validated completely, and that
the robots are going to be fucked up though. Like I got like Rosie from the Jetsons in my house, like doing shit. Like that's going to be weird.
Yeah. And Tesla's like so excited that the robot you just do the dishes and it can watch you, and now it can do the dishes for you. And so that's where I just feel like it's, what it goes back to, Jared?
Please go on.
Private equity and corporations. And the corporate greed that drives America. And this goes back to big tobacco. And I
love this. Go on.
I went to Mass Torts Made Perfect in April, which is the big conference.
Yeah.
And
all the PI attorneys are there.
That's right. Do you know that one of the big mass torts coming out here, and Mike Papantonio taught me about this, is the ultra processed foods. Are you aware of this?
No, I don't know what an ultra processed food is.
You like Oreos?
Who doesn't like Oreos? It's fucking un-American not to like Oreos.
So just history here. When big tobacco companies kind of got squeezed, and they had all these food dyes and food colorings, and they knew they couldn't make that tobacco anymore, so they bought up all the food corporations. And so they started putting all that stuff into the food that we eat. And now here we are in 2025, and there are type 2 diabetes in kids under 18. And that didn't exist.
Fucking crazy.
And that didn't exist when we were growing up. And so that's the whole ultra-processed foods, but it's really about private equity and private equity driving and getting into industries and looking for investments. Just for example, Mars Inc., right? Did you know that they own about 15% of vet clinics in the United States?
I didn't know that. I like how conspiracy Chad is.
This is not conspiracy. This is what it is.
No, I'm like, it is the truth. Yes. Here's your platform. Do your thing.
Now I kind of feel like I'm like Brendan Fraser in The Whale or something, where I'm just like this lonely guy in this apartment, and I'm like,
I'm just fucking reading Reddit threads every night.
Private equity.
I mean, it's not good. Like, profit is not focused on people. Obviously, it's simply focused on making money.
What does a candy bar company have any interest in helping your pet be healthy for an affordable cost? Seriously. Seriously.
Have another Milky Way, you fat fuck.
That's right. Not only why don't you buy another Milky Way, you can take your sick vet into our clinic, and we're going to run extra tests and tell you to come back in 2 weeks for more tests so they can hit their quota to get 15% back to their investors that they promised on their Instagram ad that they served up 2 years ago. Okay. Yeah. Now I need to go like eat a pizza like Brendan Fraser in The Whale and just,
Let's take a break. You want to hang out a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Take a break. We'll do one more segment.
Let me cool down. Okay.
We'll be back in a moment with Chad. Welcome back, everybody. That's right. We're at the Counter Program. It's a podcast within a podcast. This is a conversational space where we can address usually unrelated topics that I want to explore at a greater depth with my guests. Expect no rhyme and very little reason. Chad, I was initially thinking I wanted to do a segment with you called Hanging Chad.
Okay.
But I didn't think anyone would know what that was.
I mean,
do you want to briefly explain to people what Hanging Chad is?
Well,
because I feel like I know you know.
I think, honestly, the Hanging Chad might have been the first kind of catalyst for the attack of the name Chad that has occurred the past couple decades.
Shameful.
But the Hanging Chad was made famous in Florida during the election of, was it Bush? Which one was it?
Gore.
Bush Gore.
2000.
And the Hanging Chads was part of the ballot, and it was hard to read. It was we can't count those votes because it's just kind of there. You know what I mean?
Push your pencil through, but not all the way through.
It's like, can't you just follow directions, Chad? It's like you're just hanging there. And so the Hanging Chad, for some people, ruined the nation when Gore lost the election. And since then, the name Chad through the millennials has kind of been typecast.
You feel like Chads are being attacked.
I do. I think we got to make Chads great again.
So what I settled on instead was a new recurring segment that I'm going to launch with you.
Okay.
Because I think you can take it. I'm going to call it Suburban Dictionary.
Okay.
Here's how it works. Two middle-aged white guys. And by the way, I can be confident that I'm talking to another middle-aged white guy because it's a legal podcast. Yeah, that's us.
Okay.
In this case, we're going to discuss the website Urban Dictionary, which is one of my favorite websites ever.
Okay.
And I'm simply going to name a hip and au courant phrase.
Okay.
And you just have to pick the right definition.
Oh, gosh. This is going to be hard.
I'm going to say what the phrase is.
Okay.
And then I'm going to give you two definitions and you have to pick the right one.
Okay. Okay.
And these are new to me as well, so don't feel ashamed if you do poorly in this.
Am I 1 for 1 with Hanging Chad?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I bet you could find Hanging Chad on Urban Dictionary, though I haven't looked. All right. Phrase number 1 is bean soup. Bean soup. Definition number 1.
Is it bean soup or bean soup?
Bean soup, like beans.
Okay.
Like the legumes in soup.
Okay.
Definition number 1. Bean soup is in reference to a TikTok video where a creator posted a recipe for bean soup and then received a comment asking, but what if I don't like beans? Or bean soup refers to when you soil your jeans, but it's diarrhea. Which is it? My daughter just walked by and said, "Ew." What a perfect cameo. Okay, is it the question of I don't like beans, or is it the diarrhea?
I'm gonna go with your daughter's vote, and I'm gonna go number 2.
Number 2, literally. Actually, it's the first one.
See, it's TikTok though.
Yeah, it is TikTok. Okay, so bean soup or being bean souped is a phenomenon in which a user is unable to recognize that not all content is directed toward them. A normal user would realize they don't identify with content and move on, but a bean souper, so you can be a bean souper, would interact in opposition and usually unintelligently too. Here's how you curl your hair with a curling iron, and a bean souper would say, "What if I don't have any hair?" I think this is a social media trend that makes a lot of sense. And also in the legal context, where lawyers are so embedded in law that that's the only thing they're interested in.
Yeah, I failed that one.
So we learned
though.
something today. I mean, this is not we'll grade on a curve.
Okay. Although, I've talked to people that grading on a curve, especially for law students, isn't the greatest thing for their mental health, but I need the curve on this one.
Yeah, we'll take a chance on it. All right. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
And by the way, just to give you some cover here, I've never heard any of this shit either.
Okay. Because I think I'm reaching that age where Urban Dictionary was really foreign. You know what I mean? I felt good with
I know
with Hanging Chad and that's kind of like pulp culture from the 2000s. I can do that, but okay.
Hey, my son was talking to me about something the other day, and I've never heard of that shit before in my life. Yes. Okay, so here's another good one: tennis weenus. Tennis weenus.
Okay, I play tennis.
Is it when you whip it out at the tennis court to scare away the pickleball players? Or is it an unexplained chronic pain in the skin, often termed the weenus, attached to your elbow? It may often occur when the weenus is scraped.
It's one. Tennis elbow is tennis elbow. I would say tennis weenus is the first option.
It's actually number 2. Sorry.
Well, I mean, you kind of tipped me off at pickleball.
I did.
Real quick, I grew up playing pickleball before everyone thought pickleball was cool. Because pickleball.
Are you serious?
I grew up playing pickleball in the 80s. Okay, because pickleball was invented.
I thought it wasn't even invented then.
That's because you're you're like that guy on social media. You're like a super beaner. What are you? You just believe everything's message to you.
I'm a bean super.
You think
what the fuck?
You think just pickleball just came out of nowhere the past 3 years? Pickleball's been around for decades. And
so please go on.
I grew up
80s pickleball.
I had a pickleball court at my childhood home. I played pickleball in Washington State. My high school had pickleball tournaments. And then anyways, so now everyone's playing pickleball. And so I thought it maybe was an Urban Dictionary. Now I got into pickleball, and I picture young kids doing graphic things on pickleball courts. And obviously I was wrong though. I always thought just tennis elbow was tennis elbow. What is the...
Nah, tennis weenus.
What is the...
I'm going to start using this in my everyday life.
That's gotta be... Are you telling me that I can go to the tennis club and go up to the people at the front desk and be like, my tennis weenus is out of control right now?
I think you can. Yes.
I don't think
it's fair game.
I think I would be asked to sit down over here for a minute because, your membership's been revoked because you can't go... You can't go talk... You can't go going around talking about your tennis weenus. Is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
I think that's fair. But I got an even better one. For you. All right, you're 0 for 2 so far, but that's all right. You've got time to redeem yourself.
Wait, who's keeping score?
I am. I'll keep score mentally. Bed lead. Is it when you're so tired you can't get out of bed on a Friday morning and you have to skip work? Or is it a term used to describe the act of shitting on a bed? Is it shitting on bed or not being able to wake up on a weekday? Bedletting. This is gonna be part of my usual vocabulary.
This is what the kids. This is why I'm. I have angst against youth. I feel like this is all the kids. I feel like you're like a 20-year-old just making fun of me. And I don't know what you're talking about.
If it makes you feel any better, I'm kind of making fun of myself as well.
Wait, so this is bed lead? Is that what it is?
Bed lead, like the.
Okay, so
like
you
what
either
you'd make a
can't get
bullet out
up
of,
because you're so tired, or you shit
or
the
you
bed.
just shit the bed. Yeah.
I'm gonna go with because like the Urban Dictionary is part of like pop culture, society, and youth coming up with these terms, right?
Youth culture.
Youth
Yes.
culture. I'm gonna go number 1.
It's number 2. Literally.
Can I just ask
you might be the only person to go 0 for 7. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I just wouldn't you just say I shit the bed? Like, why do you got to come up with the term? Why do you got to come up with the term that's bed led? Oh, you bed led. That many college kids bed ledding? You know what I mean? It's where it's like they're
what can only hope.
Yeah, where it's like, dude, you bed ledded last night, bro. No way, I did that last weekend. It's like
I kind of enjoy it actually. All right, here's another one for you. This is like you got a 50-50 shot.
No, I don't. No.
All right. Jelly Joe Ho. Jelly Joe Ho. Is that a jealous female hoe or a jealous male hoe or a mimbo?
A Jelly Joe Ho?
Jelly Joe Ho. Is it a male or a female hoe?
I think that's...
And if I have to explain what a hoe is, perhaps this is not the podcast for you, but go on.
I mean, I know it's a commonly used backyard tool.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, gardening.
I think that a Jelly Joe Ho, I got to go number 1.
Female hoe.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
And I got one. I got one,
You've
right?
got one.
See, and that's because I feel like I see these like mean like frat kids, you know what I mean? And like they're like all broing out and she's like, she's just a Jelly Joe Ho, dude, don't worry about her. Or is it like mean sorority girls who are like, oh my God, she's a Jelly Joe Ho, don't even forget about her.
Either way, I think it's female and you're probably doing it. You're probably saying that right after you finish your keg stand.
Yes. The 4th one of the night. Right before the cops come.
I got 2 more for you. The last one is my favorite.
I can't believe I got the tennis one wrong. I do play tennis.
You gotta look up on that tennis weenus. You gotta make sure you take care of that.
I can't say that. It's down the tennis court. Like I just...
I got 2 more for you. The last one is my favorite, which I've saved it for last. But this is actually taken from Urban Dictionary. National Hate Your Friend Named Chris Day.
Chris gets a lot of bad stuff too, I guess.
Is that a day to hate your friend named Chris? Or ironically, is that a day to hate your friend named Chad? Who do you hate on the National Hate Your Friend Named Chris Day?
I see.
Chad or Chris. Don't overthink this.
I see what they're doing. I think it's to hate Chad.
It's not though. Here's how they define it on Urban Dictionary. Tom. Oh, hey Chris. Nick. No, it's National Hate Your Friend Named Chris Day. Tom. Okay. Fuck you, Chris. I don't even know what's happening there.
See, like that's what I'm talking about. I think kids have these conversations and they think it's like funny or amusing. And
nothing is amusing about this.
No, it's not. No.
Kids. Yeah. Fellow kids, if you're listening, you're not funny.
Hey, if you, that's right. All the kid listeners out there, you're not funny.
Which are many.
Yes.
Our audience
all your
is
listeners,
huge.
All your listeners.
With children listen to the show all the time.
Now I feel a lot of pressure because I really got to get this last one.
This is a good one. This is, I have to say, like I don't want to build it up too much and have it like be unimpressive, but this is my favorite one that I found. REO Speedwagon, which is something you and I can connect to, right?
Yes.
Is an REO Speedwagon when you're comfortable but suddenly need to take a shit and finally do so after several minutes of contemplation because you can't fight that feeling anymore?
Another defecation reference?
Yeah, like that's what Urban Dictionary is.
Yeah.
Or is it a 1980s pop band famous for the song Time for Me to Fly? Underrated REO Speedwagon song, by the way. Is it number 1? You can't fight the feeling of hitting the
but it can't exist as both, right? It's either 1 or 2.
Can't exist as both. Yeah, you could choose both.
I can choose both.
And I might lean in that direction.
I'm totally leaning. I would say that they somehow discovered this great classic song from the 80s, and now kids are just like, it's just so funny because Chris or Chad couldn't make it to the bathroom, and he had an REO Speedwagon, and it's National Hate Chris Day.
That was a perfect summation
Thank you.
See, I think the next time I have to rush to the bathroom, I'd be like, I got to hit an REO Speedwagon.
I'm just going to start screaming, I can't fight this feeling. Just like, get out of my way. Get out of my way.
May I read the description on Urban Dictionary for you?
Yes, please.
I was watching TV, but a mud missile was kissing my underwear. And I finally had to take an REO Speedwagon. Great time for all. Welcome to the family-friendly Legal Late Night podcast.
I feel like now what I want to do
is new to me as well.
I just want to use AI to create my own fake Urban Dictionary because, like, I feel like AI could have just come up with something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it easily could have.
GPT, give me like 5 funny things that like could be pop culture references that would, in like GPT would come up with like. The hit song from REO Speedwagon is now referred to as someone who can't make it to the bathroom. Isn't that funny? Would you like me to reword it in better ways for LinkedIn or Instagram?
Please do.
Yes, please. No, don't say please. Don't say please to GPT. It takes up too much, water and energy.
Wait for my LinkedIn posts coming out this week. They're going to be fucking fire.
Are you using a lot of AI on that?
Might be rolling up some Urban Dictionary stuff.
Some REO Speedwagons. You should do a post, if you could, do a post referencing all of those terms just in one. And
that's how I'm going to promote this podcast episode.
See if people can connect the dots and follow the story.
Chad, thank you. This was delightful.
Thank you.
As always. We'll talk soon.
We will. And I would like to encourage any personal injury attorney out there to take a demo of CloudLex to see the power of the legal cloud platform, or visit the triallawyersjournal.com and join our community and hear the stories rooted in the intricate world of trial law. How's that?
That was really good.
I saved it for the end.
Thank you. We'll talk soon. Thanks for our guest. That was Chad Sands of CloudLex. To learn more about CloudLex, visit CloudLex.com. That's CloudLex.com. Now, because I'll always be a 90s kid wearing my Beavis and Butthead Frog baseball t-shirt, whose true passion is burning CDs for anyone who would listen, I'm now just doing the modern version of that, which is creating Spotify playlists for every podcast episode that I record, where the songs are tangentially related to an episode topic. This week's playlist is all about the beach, in honor of my guy, Chad Sands. Get it? Sands. See what I did there? And best of all, it's sponsored by Hawaiian Tropic Suntan Lotion, so I can look just like a basted turkey. I'm just kidding, by the way. Hawaiian Tropic hasn't sponsored shit, but I wish they would. Hit me up, or should I say, lube me up. Join us next time when I try not to feel ashamed about bedletting last night. What? No!